Today we are going to show you how to make tortillas from scratch.
Using blue corn
boiled in concrete.
Let's get started.
Corn, the miracle crop, instantly started to spread across the world as soon as Columbus discovered and the other explorers discovered this amazing resource that was the New World. And corn was the real gold of this continent. When explorers brought this to China, it changed the dynamic completely. It's probably responsible for the population boom that was experienced there from the 1500s onward. But when it hit Italy, it became part of the staple diet. Up in the northern parts of Italy, they started to make polenta, which is basically porridge. It comes from the Latin word for pulse, which basically means gruel. And so what they do is they take this amazing new grain and they would mill it down into flour, basically the same as all the other grains they were already familiar with, and make it into a gruel called polenta that they would then eat. And it would be like the staple that they would survive on. But there was something sinister at work. The people who were surviving on this corn got horribly ill in the springtime, in the early spring after the winter season, with this condition that made their skin rough, changed their coloring, made them struggle to go out in the sunlight. It was this horrible, awful condition. And they called it pellagra, this disease. The weird thing was, it was actually caused by the food they were eating. By itself, if you eat it, doesn't contain any niacin. It doesn't contain any useful amounts of vitamin B. And your body kind of needs that in order to like hold your tissue together. And so it's a bad thing if you eat only stuff that doesn't have the thing that you need. And so what was discovered pretty shortly after corn was invented in Central America was a process called nixtamalization, which is where you boil the corn in wood ashes or in calcium hydroxide, like this super caustic stuff. And what it does is it actually chemically changes the corn, makes it so that it can form the plasticky consistency you expect, the kind of rubbery consistency of a tortilla, and it changes the flavor and enriches it and makes it easier to digest and makes it so that the vitamin B becomes available. And they did not have this in Italy, just didn't bring the technology along.
So there's another lesson here besides the scientific one. If you don't treat the corn before eating it, then it doesn't give you any vitamin B. Now in the modern diet, that's not a problem. We get vitamin B from a lot of different sources. So if you eat corn by itself, you're gonna be fine. But in that time period, the Italians didn't have that added vitamin B in their diet, and so it caused a huge nutritional problem for them. That's the scientific problem. When Columbus brought corn back over from the New World, he didn't bring along that process of nixtamalization. So he took one piece of the culture and moved it out, but he didn't relate it back to the rest of the culture, and that ended up having some very, very dire real-world consequences. So there's this lesson here that when you learn things, you want to be able to see them in their context. You want to be able to understand how they're interacting with other things, and that will help you learn better and move things across contexts in a way that's actually effective and doesn't make your skin tissue fall apart.
Because that would be bad.
Yeah.
So what we have here is tortilla dough that has been prepared from the blue corn that we harvested from the garden. And it's been prepared in the same way, but with two slight variations. One of these has been prepared with traditional cal, which you can get from any Mexican market. And this is calcium hydroxide. It's an extremely strong alkali, and it also happens to be the main ingredient that makes concrete. And so I was wondering if we could make tortillas using concrete, and that is exactly what we've done. So one of these is prepared with concrete, the other is prepared with traditional cal, and we're going to make some tortillas. All we have to do for that is take the balls of dough that we've made and squish them using this tortilla press. Link in the description below. We're going to see how that goes and see if we can taste the difference between the stuff that has been processed in cement and the stuff that has been processed traditionally. So let's squish that down and give it a try. So we finished the tortillas and they look and smell delicious, but we're not actually going to try them here. We're going to go over to Christine Chai's channel called Zested Foods and try them with a barbacoa taco mix that she has prepared specially for this test. We'll see you there.